garden has just become a jungle, has become really wild, and I've kind of let it go again. I've been a little bit busy, but I've still have some nice things in here. This is all have been self-sown, Verbena bonariensis, and it's funny because I don't know how it got here, but the seeds are really small. So, and then these ageratums also were self-sown. And there's a tomato plant back there that it just came up on its own. It could be, I do have a compost bin back there, so probably things traveled out from there and landed around this area. These are all the dahlias that I potted up, and these are all dahlias that I got from last year, and I took the tubers, saved the tubers, and then repotted them for this year, and they're starting to bloom. You can see my zinnias that I planted are pretty much spent. I didn't deadhead them at all. I just let them grow out. And there's some gomphrena that's self-seeded. And my camellia. I still have to put it in the ground. These are my tangerines. And this is really taken over. I have to really cut it back. This is my butterfly pea bush, and you can see it's just taken over all of the plants here, so I'm gonna have to cut it back. But yeah, the plants here are doing really well. They're loving the heat, and this here is my dahlia that I got from a tuber, and the dahlias are have been blooming for quite a while. Very beautiful. And the mahogany hibiscus or mahogany splendor hibiscus plant is almost as tall as our roof. It's really taken off, and I just got it as a very tiny cutting, and it's just massive now. So I really love it. I just love the color of the leaves, and it kind of matches with the trim of my house. So it's a really great accent, and it seems really happy here. I don't water it that much, so it can take, you know, a little bit on the drier side, but it's doing great. This planter is on its way out. I had straw flowers and snapdragons, but they're pretty much, I think, done. They worked really hard. So moving on to the backyard, here's a look at the natural pond that I built 2 months ago. And about a week ago, I did upload a video going into more detail about the plants and the thought process behind this pond. And I have to say that I'm very pleased with how this pond has turned out. No algae growth, and again, the aquatic plants have played a big role in helping to suppress the algae growth. We've had a lot of visitors to this pond, like butterflies, birds, bees, flies, and even toads, although I know a lot of people don't like toads. So I'm enjoying the pond, and so is the wildlife in this area. And next we're going to move on to the different flowers. Most of the flowers are on their way out, I think. These rudbeckia, black-eyed Susans, grew by themselves here, and I'm just letting them go to seed. And this Verbena bonariensis is also going to seed, and this grew by itself from a plant I had last year. So really happy with the verbena. I just like the form. And I think the purple and the yellow are really pretty together. So here, this area, I had 4 David Austin roses, but only 2 made it. And I think I really neglected it. That's why it just kind of died. Here I planted some iris. Seems to be doing okay. These are my other David Austin roses, and they did pretty good. This is their second blooming this year. So with the David Austin roses, I did order them last year, middle of last year, and then they were shipped, I think, bare root in January, February. Here's some more dahlias that are looking pretty tired because they worked hard this summer. This is my cafe au lait. And this area, I remember in the April video I had showed the transplants that I had of my cosmos I grew from seed from Floret Farms. So what happened was, this is the original plant, one of them, and I pulled a lot of them or cut the other ones off. But then they had self-seeded, and this is the second generation of plants. So you can see it's really interesting. These plants look different. So I think they must have cross-pollinated. I had some cupcake cosmos and some other ones in here, and I think they might have crossed. So that's kind of interesting and fun. But I'm just letting them all go to seed because the birds like to come and eat the seeds. So I'm just letting it go. And here's more cosmos coming up. There's some zinnias back there, looking really good. These are some feverfew, and again, they're kind of tired looking. They've put out blooms for the past few weeks. Oh, here's a nigella. You can see that a lot of them have gone to seed pods. Now this is something that I wanted to try, and Danielle from North Lawn Flower Farms recommended to grow this Dara, and I really like it. It was really pretty, but as you can see, again, all going to seeds. This is some celosia, more black-eyed Susan rudbeckia. This area is my water lotus, or lotus, and it's been blooming for the past 2 months now. The bees really enjoy it. The thing about lotus, it does need full sun. It won't tolerate partial shade or shade, at least in Hawaii. Because I had my lotus before in like a partial shade condition, and it never bloomed. But now in full sun, it blooms pretty consistently. Another thing is they do appreciate some fertilizer, so I do go ahead and put in some pond tabs. And I also even throw in some liquid fertilizer sometimes. Okay, this is the back view. So I created these stepways to get to the other side of the pond, and I put in a little bamboo bench here so that you could, or I could sit and just enjoy the pond. I did create a shelf here for other aquatic plants, and this one is cattail, and the one back there is an iris, although I forgot the variety. And this is a dahlia. It's really cute, pretty. And the first flowers that came out had a little blush of pink on the top. And the ones that have come out since are kind of a light greenish color. Like a little light lime. Very pretty. So this garden is coming on 3 years ever since the start of COVID. And just to show you how I did it, so originally the garden went from this to this, and I owe it all to the YouTuber. I don't even want to call him a YouTuber, but garden expert Charles Dotting. He champions the no dig garden, and I really encourage you to watch his videos. It's very inspirational. And what he recommends, or what he does, is that he puts down layers of cardboard to suppress weed and grass, and then over the cardboard he puts compost. So that's what I did with this area. I just laid down cardboard. I rummaged through garbage bins, recyclable bins, saved all my boxes and laid it all down here. And then I brought bags and bags and bags of compost, over 2 years worth. And of course my bill was very expensive, but it was really worth it because if you can see the soil here, it's just so easy to work with, easy to dig. And of course you're gonna find weeds, but they're so easy to pull out. It's like no effort, you can just toss it. But it's really been a game changer for me. I don't think I would have had this garden if it had not been for what Charles Dotting taught in his books as well as his YouTube channel. So again, here, just more, see, look, here's a corn on the cob, some orange peelings, but I don't even age my compost or whatnot. I throw it in the walkway and it becomes compost eventually. But if you can see here, very rich kind of soil. And I do have a guinea pig and a chicken, so I use their bedding a lot, composting, and I throw it in here so that I can compost. I also go to Starbucks and they always save me their coffee grounds, and I use that as a compost as well. So it a lot of things you can do to build up your own soil in your garden without having to spend a ton of money. So another part besides the soil is water, and luckily we live in the mountains, so we do get more rainfall than a lot of the other parts of the island. But when I do water, I water very, very deeply, and it's always better to water 2 or 3 times a week very, very deeply versus every day just lightly. So I do recommend that, to water deeply. And for me, many people, we don't have time. We work full time, or we have kids. So watering when I can, I don't always follow the water in the morning or in the evening rule, but watering when I can. And this is the result. And in regards to fertilizer, I don't fertilize again because the soil here is pretty rich already, but I do occasionally add use some fish fertilizer or a very dilute Miracle-Gro, and that's pretty much it. So anyway, that concludes the end of the tour. Hope you're enjoying your summer in your own gardens, and take care. Bye.